Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stockertim Special. Welcome to Stockertim, the Investors Channel. On this episode, we will be talking about the earnings report for Palantir that was released yesterday. One of the most anticipated and talked about company on Wall Street. Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. They released the results yesterday. Just as a disclosure, Palantir is the largest stock in our list of stock picks at Stockertim, and so the earnings report was very, very important to us. It was a blowout result, as you can see, the title of the video. And what we want to do today is to basically share a few takeout from the earnings report, share also our opinion about what we think about the business of Palantir, about what we think about the stock, about what we actually think about AI revolution that is actually pushing Palantir to a new height, a new all-time high. So if you're just joining us, of course, every information shared on this channel is for information and education purpose only. Do your due diligence or consult a financial advisor before making any decision. On that note, give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, put on a notification bell so that you don't miss any episode that will bring you. So let's jump right in. So one of the most important takeout from this result was the impressive earnings revenue that Palantir actually disclosed yesterday. For the first time since this company was created over 20 years ago, Palantir reported its first $1 billion revenue in a single quarter, which is a 10-digit revenue now. As a matter of fact, the result was so impressive that the U.S. commercial revenue growth was about 93% year on year, which is very, very unbelievable, especially looking at the sector that Palantir actually plays: software as a service, AI, data analytics, data integration. Quarter on quarter is actually very, very impressive as well. 20% for the commercial revenue. So why is commercial revenue very, very important for Palantir? That's because a lot of the bear case, a lot of the negative analysts or analysts who don't necessarily recommend Palantir, I've always been saying, oh, Palantir is depending solely on government contract, government business to actually grow the business. But if you actually look at the government revenue, actually that was also very impressive, but that actually grew by 53% year on year. The government revenue actually moved from 278 million to 426 million year on year, which is quite impressive. The total US revenue, which is very, very important because Palantir's business is very huge in the US. Palantir has now started making inroads, to Southeast Asia, to the Gulf states, the UAE, the Qatar, the Emirates. But the US business actually grew about 68% year on year, and quarter on quarter was about 17%. Now, all of these figures are not too important until you start contextualizing it. So, more importantly, Palantir's rule of 40 is now at about 94 to 93%, which is the highest. Now, what does that mean? I've done a huge loads of videos that where I explain what rule of 40 means. Rule of 40 basically means how a company is growing in terms of revenue vis-a-vis also every other thing that the company is doing. So if you put all the software company together, Palantir, Snowflakes, Salesforce, ServiceNow, even Databricks, all of those companies, Palantir has the highest rule of 40, which is quite impressive. Also, another consolation that actually gives me joy as a Palantir investor is that Palantir now has about $6 billion in cash, which also makes sense because the company doesn't have any debt at all on its balance sheet. Zero. Actually means zero. So at the end of the day, you'll be asking yourself, is there any negative side to this result? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about how the stock has reacted, what we think about the future of Palantir, and what investors or shareholders of Palantir actually need to be aware of, especially looking at this full year and also for maybe till 2028, 3 years down the line. But if you actually watch this video to this point, please give this video a like, because more people will be able to see this video. We've done very other interesting videos on IPOs for the likes of CoreWeave, the likes of Seco Internet, the likes of every other companies going public. We've done all other due diligence videos. So these videos, we are getting a whole lot of feedback from so many people around the world, because a lot of this content actually improve their outlook, improve their research on how they actually make their decision on what to invest in. Of course, we don't necessarily offer any financial advice or regulated advice, but this video actually had value to people. So give this video a like, because more people actually see the video. Now let's jump back to what exactly has the stock been doing since this historic result has actually come out, and what Palantir as a company is saying about the future of Palantir. So I'll go to the charts now. I will be able to actually put into context what this result means for Palantir, and what you need to pay attention to, especially from our own opinion. So here is what Palantir stock is actually doing. The market is actually live at the moment. As a matter of fact, when the trading activity started on Wall Street, the stock actually went as high. So if I go to the 5-day chart, you could actually see that the stock went as high as $175.26, which is quite impressive. That's about 9% jump. Palantir's valuation, if I move to the side, even as we speak, with a slight pullback, on the stock, you can actually see that the stock is now having a valuation market cap of about $406 billion, which is quite huge. Yes, there's a lot of alarm bells ringing, especially a lot of investors who are fundamental investors, value investors, who actually believe that valuation actually matters. But I'll get into that. But if you look at the price action on the stock in the last couple of maybe 3 to 4 hours that trading has started on Wall Street, it has been anything short of very, very impressive positive reception by the market. Is this a pump? Is this just traders looking to cash in on the momentum and looking to sell? It's yet to be seen, but Palantir has always been a stock that has been priced on a very, very premium base, and at the end of the day, there's a lot of questions that people are now asking. Will this stock continue to go up? But I'm going to talk about a few things that Palantir as a company actually mentioned. Number one, Palantir is saying in the next 4 to 5 years, they want to actually 10x their revenue. So Palantir is targeting about $40 billion in annual revenue, because the CEO said he is quite very, very confident that the company has what it takes to do that. He's also even saying that the company will reduce headcounts strategically without even firing people. So the company is not going to be looking to get so many people, because it's an AI company for that matter. So a whole lot of the processes, a whole lot of the onboarding, a whole lot of client servicing that Palantir spends money doing, sending people to client offices, development, coding and all that. Many of these clients or partners of Palantir will be able to onboard themselves, will be able to actually, a few clicks here and there, and they'll be able to set up Palantir software for them to deploy AI and data analytics. So if the company is able to do that, that means Palantir's business or their profit margin is going to increase to the upside. And as Palantir continues to capture more clients, more partners, more customers across the world, that will actually be a tailwind, because you are doing so much, getting much more result, much more profit with much more less expenses, overheads, and a whole lot of capital expenditure that actually takes so much out of the bottom line. So that's one. Number two, sovereign AI, which I have mentioned over the years, that is my bull case for Palantir. So as we speak, outside of the US, the UK, the Australian government, and maybe NATO, and a few companies in the Gulf states, Palantir is still very, very, very fresh in terms of penetrating the government side of things, especially across Europe, across continental Southeast Asia. Yes, Palantir would never work for China or some countries that are actually allied with China, which is quite fine. But a whole lot of companies actually that exist outside of China, they are not, they have nothing to do with the Chinese government or the Chinese state. Many of these companies actually exist outside of the US. Many of these companies are going to actually adopt AI. They will want to deploy AI for their business on their enterprise level, data integration, building digital twins of their business to actually capture more growth, innovate, build new products, and actually even prepare for the next phase of industrialization that is going to be driven by AI. So Palantir is actually at that intersection of the next phase of growth and deployment of AI. So those are the tailwinds for me. Now, what are the downsides? Yes, the stock is actually priced to the very, very premium base. So this is a stock that is now trading at about over 80 times or almost 100 times future earnings, or trailing PE. So at the end of the day, yes, there will be a reality check, especially a whole lot of analysts who are actually covering the stock. They're still not very, very positive very, very positive about Palantir, especially many of them that still have maybe average of 40 to 60 price targets. Many of these analysts will continue to actually look for the gray areas. Will continue to actually look for flaws in execution that Palantir is actually going to do. Maybe a few contract challenges here and there, a few disagreements, or Palantir having maybe one or two PR issues here and there, but they will always want to actually create the bear case for Palantir. So with that, in the short to medium term, you actually see Palantir still pull back to maybe 150, 140, but this stock has that resilience, and would believe that if Palantir is able, yes, the stock, as people actually say, is priced to perfection, but if Palantir can actually execute to at least match the expectation of what the company is setting, at least in the next 3 years, we are looking at a price target, and that's going to be a bonus for anyone. If you have watched this video to this point, we've talked about Palantir for several years now, for so many people following Palantir, following Stockertim before we actually came on YouTube. We've talked about Palantir for the past 4 years to in the last 3 years, yes. And at the end of the day, what we actually do is to make sure we share everything we are doing. We are very transparent. We don't necessarily recommend anything to anyone. We just share, this is what we're buying, this is how we're buying it. And that's why I am inviting everyone to join our premium community. What do we do there? Not regulated advice. We don't actually even recommend anything. We just share what we do, how we do it, and the result that we're getting in a way that you can actually understand what we do. You can learn from our approach. You can also use that to do your own research, do your due diligence. So I will drop the link. If you can see at the top, the link is there. If you want to join the premium community, you can join. Yes, so as the bonus, if you have watched this video to this point, what do we think about the future of Palantir in terms of price targets? So our full year price target, which we have shared with our members, our premium community, we've shared this information with them right before we did this video. So our full year target, we are now looking at about $190 to $200 per share. That is if Palantir continues to ramp up a whole lot of new deals, a whole lot of new partnerships that we believe are still in the cooler. Palantir is also now in a phase where they are going to be containerizing the software, designing software for the healthcare industry. Palantir is actually perhaps the most used software now in the biggest healthcare institutions in the US. Just imagine when they start taking this software to different countries in Europe, different countries in continental Southeast Asia, different countries even in emerging markets, in African markets. So that is going to be the upside, which Palantir is now perhaps researching into, and they are developing the approach to actually go into that market. So we believe that, before the end of the year, more deals are still going to be announced, more products, more features are still going to be deployed. For 2028 price target, we actually see between 300 to 350 per share by 2028. That's all things being equal, and that's what we think. Do you agree? You don't necessarily have to agree. Yes, this stock is priced to a premium. It's priced as, quote and unquote, as the bearish analysts say, price to perfection. If you actually buy the stock at this point and it moves down 20, 15, 10%, you lose a lot of money depending on what you buy. If you buy the stock now and it moves another 10% up, you actually make a lot of money. So you need to actually be aware of this kind of stock that are priced to a premium. They are priced to a very, very aggressive valuation. So you don't necessarily have to jump on this kind of stock. You don't necessarily have to actually chase the stock. You just have to have a strategy, and that's what we do in the community. I will drop the link also to the description of this video. So that's exactly what we think about Palantir going forward. So what do you think about the future of Palantir? Do you think the future for Palantir is bright? Do you think by 2028 Palantir will be trading close to $300 per share? Palantir might actually do a stock split, which might actually make the stock to be much more cheaper, but the valuation will still remain the same. We believe Palantir has a very bright future. We believe Palantir is going to shape up, the future of AI, the future of enterprise AI, the future of AI becoming the drive force, the drive engine, the engine room of the future of economy, the future of finance, the future of business, the future of even warfare, the future of defense and national security. So that's what we think. Till next time, keep investing, keep growing. Take care and bye-bye.